You guys on Discord have any questions? Any tickers you want me to go over? Any trades that you did well? I'm good. I'm doing pretty good. You know, I love working. I miss being on live with you guys, but it's been fun. It's been kind of an action-packed last couple days in the market, last really 2 weeks. Angel, I know you're new here. Let's hear those questions, man. This is what these are for. I do this once a week, so let's hear it. I don't see your question on AMD. You mind retyping that? Can you go over what you mentioned in the chat, how NVIDIA is a different stock and we should watch 2 to 5 minutes? So, obviously, I don't know if you guys are trading around the time, but NVIDIA used to be an $800-900 stock, split, ran back up to $1,200, split again 10 ways, now it's a $100 stock. Google used to be over $1,000. Amazon was over $3,000. Tesla was over $1,000. So when those stocks are that expensive per share, right, you're going to get $1, $2, $3, $5, $10 moves fairly easily. When they split, they're obviously a lot cheaper. So you're not going to get, $3, $4, $5, $10 moves on them, right? So you're going to get 50-cent moves, $1 moves, maybe $2 moves would be really good. So on a 1-minute chart, you're not going to get those crazy wild moves. So and the contracts are cheap. So today, on NVIDIA, off the open and whatever, maybe there's something to play there. But typically when you see chop like this, the last thing I want you to do is take loss after loss after loss after loss, waiting for this new high break into the all-time high, because the original all-time high was 133.79. Okay, I'm going to make this orange and a lot bigger so you can see it. So that was the all-time high. We kind of tested it, and then, I'm sitting here kind of waiting for this break, kind of based out for a while. So on a 1-minute chart, you might get faked out on these little red moves, up and down, even something like this. But look how much cleaner it looks on just a 2-minute chart. Right? Not that big of a difference, but a little bit cleaner. Well, let's go to a 5-minute. Doesn't that look a little bit cleaner? And the candles aren't going to move as sporadic on a 1-minute. So you can actually, to me, on a slow trade that I'm planning to hold, waiting for a break like this, which I caught, I'm going to move to a higher time frame when I'm holding through a consolidation. Because if I'm looking for a quick trade, off the open, first 10, 15, 30 minutes, a 1-minute chart's fine. There's volume there. Everything kind of moves pretty well. But on slower trades like this, I like to move to a 2 or 5-minute chart. It keeps me calmer. It doesn't make me freak out on, one minute candle could come down red, look really weak, and you might sell, get faked out, and then, the next minute it bounces back up. You're just sitting in low volume chop. So I don't want to make an irrational decision when the stock's not really doing anything that important. So Vance, to answer your question, that's why I put it on a higher time frame chart, not like an hourly chart or anything, but just a little bit higher time frame to keep me in that trade, keep me calm, keep me composed, so I can really hold, maybe add to the position, whatever it may be. So I hope that makes sense. LT on YouTube, what's up? Okay, you posted a question about AMD. Let's see. Right, yeah. So Vans, that's the whole reason why I do that. So and now that a lot of these mega cap stocks have now split, Netflix is probably going to be the next one. SMCI might split as well. Meta is not quite there. Typically, when a stock gets around $800 to $1,000, that's kind of when split rumors start coming around, right? Because most everyday people can't afford $1,000 a share. Okay, let's see. I'm playing with the chart to try and get an idea on how to day trade. Can you guys tell me how can I plan a day trade off my weekly time frame? Here's pickup daily. Okay. Yeah, so Vans, and now that a lot of the stocks are much cheaper, they're now most of them are, you know, 100, $200, other than, Meta, right? We have in Microsoft, we have Tesla, we now have NVDA, we have Apple, we have Google, stuff like that. They're just going to be slower. So, contracts are cheaper. It kind of helps all of us. But okay, Angel, back to what you're saying. So, pretty broad question, I have to say, but basically for me, what I'm looking at, I start on yearly charts whenever I'm charting, right? To find trades that I want to take. So, like for me, like all these levels in here, I'm not really interested in, but I would be interested in a level like this, right? Right now it's 97, but this was 970. This $100 level was 1,000. So the $100 level to me is important. Okay, why? Because it's a whole number. It's a psychological level. $100 flat price. There's really not much more explanation than that on why $100 is important. It's a psychological level that everyone's going to be looking at price wise. And we have a flat top here on a big time frame. So if we can break over this, that's when you can see a breakout. So let's look at Microsoft. What Microsoft been up to recently? Well, on a daily chart, which I'm looking at here, we bounced off, 430, bounced off it again, came up, broke through it a little bit, got up to like 433, bounced off it again. We got back above with volume, right? And with the market kind of really ripping. And here's our breakout. What's going on with Netflix? Netflix to me is going to be probably one of the next ones. Netflix's all-time high is 700, right? It's a whole number. It's a round number. Really, it's 799, but we bounced right off that $700 level. Where are we right now? We're at 685. We're within $15 of 700. So this is going to be another watch for a breakout. We have earnings in about a month, so not super interested right now, but I think this will probably chill out for the next couple days. And then once we get closer, about 2 weeks away from earnings, maybe there's something going to, start happening. Why did this break out? Well, part of it was technicals. Okay. So I caught this trade. This was pretty nice. Part of this was technicals, right? We kind of have a wedge pattern here that broke out with some volume. Also, Netflix came out with, the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight's going to be on it. We had the Tom Brady roast. We have the Peaky Blinders movie coming out, stuff like that. So there has been some news around it. They've cracked down on the password sharing stuff, so more people have to subscribe. All this news kind of compacts together, and you get some technicals behind it, and then this starts ripping. So, like I said, it's kind of a broad question that you asked. But, like AMD to me really isn't a stock that I'm interested in right now. It's just not doing a whole lot. It's a semiconductor. Looking at, in the same sector, look what's going on. You have Micron, which is breaking out, right? Another great all-time high trade. NVIDIA obviously is like the number one stock in the world right now. And we also have SMCI, right? So this has been moving pretty well, not at all-time highs, but this is stronger. AMD is one of the weakest ones, and Intel is probably second to that. Look at Intel. It looks terrible. So do you have any other questions on that? What else do you guys have for me? YouTube and Twitch and Twitter, you guys can ask as well. James Wavy, SPY. Okay. Well, SPY, as you can see from here, SPY, we made a new all-time high today. So just like what I've said, at every time we just start ripping through all-time highs, it's going to end at one point. We're extremely extended to the upside. Do I know when it's going to stop and roll over and start selling off? No. Would I expect it to happen somewhat soon? Sure. But like I said, I don't know when. So does that mean that I'm going to start trying to short stocks and buy puts on things and want things to roll over? No. Could it work in the longer term sense, right? In a couple weeks? Sure. But you also may have to deal with this moving to 555, 560, right? I just don't know when this is going to roll over, so I'm not trying to get in front of that. So tomorrow is not a half day. The market is closed tomorrow. Angel, all good. You can pick other tickers. I'll chart at the end as well. I always end my my lessons with some charting. So Brando on Twitter, Airbnb. Let's check it out. So Airbnb really not doing a whole lot, right? The last like month. However, you see this box here. This is a gap. So this gap looks fairly decent. Can everyone else see my screen? It sounds like it looks like other people can see it. Okay. So Brando, anyway, so to me, there's no trade here to the downside, really. Like, I'm not looking for a downside trade. To me, I'm waiting for this to really pick up some steam up above 150 into this gap to look to trade this to the upside. I'm not interested in the downside. I'm not trying to buy puts on this. All right. I'm not looking at Airbnb news. To me, right now, the stock is just doing nothing. It's trading flat. It's going sideways. It's chopping around. Very, very easy to lose money. If this gets up near 150 and it starts trading on maybe some good news, maybe the market's running as well, maybe there's a trade here to the upside. So that's what I'm looking for here. Most want to know how to find a day trade entry from looking at a weekly chart or daily chart, like how to chart it. So, there's obviously there's an unlimited different ways to look at this. Brando, okay, nice. Yeah, so that gap trade is what I'd be looking for. So good job. Angel. So, I mean, pretty much there's just, there's some principles behind everything, right? There's rules, there's psychology behind everything you do in trading. For me, I'm not necessarily looking for an entry on a daily chart, right? I'm looking for resistance and support on things where I know that there could be a breakout or a breakdown. On a big time frame, when we get to important levels, like I was talking about on like Microsoft, this is a nice trade here through all-time high. We had a lot of resistance in this area here that we finally broke out of. Once we got above this area, that's when things started running, right? A random stock that I never look at is Domino's Pizza. Why would I be interested in this? Well, we're at 52-week highs. We have a really nice all-time. I don't know if this is all-time high or not. Looks like all-time high is pretty close. Why would I be interested in this? Well, we're coming up into this resistance level on the daily chart. This looks like it's ready to kind of just explode. So I would be interested around 540, 545, 550. NVDA, I was really interested in the 1,000. We gapped up on earnings. They announced that they're going to do a stock split. That's good news. And sure enough, it's, it just broke out and it was gone. So again, broad question, but resistance and support on weekly and daily charts are going to be areas of interest for me. Once the stock comes around to resistance or support that I'm interested in, that is when I'm going to start paying attention to the stock. For something like, Brando said on Twitter, when Airbnb is doing this and it's just flat, I couldn't care less of what it's doing. Same with AMD. There's nothing going on here. We're in the middle of a range that I don't want to be trading in. There's just nothing going on here for me. If AMD comes down to 140, maybe I'd be interested. If AMD gets above 180, maybe I'm interested. But until then, I'm not looking at it because there's not really a trade there. Why would I be interested in Domino's Pizza? Well, there's a high that we could break and really start ripping through. All-time high is also up here at 567. Tesla, same thing. I didn't trade Tesla for 2 months because Tesla did nothing but just chop around in this area. And then we finally got out of it a little bit, and we've kind of done nothing since. Once we get above 190, maybe we have a room to 200. After 200, that's, to me, where I'm really going to be more interested than 190. Because 201 is a psychological level, and 2, we have a resistance here at 198. Next, we have like 205. So if we can get above this area here, that's when I think Tesla can kind of go on its run. Does that make sense, Angel? Let's see, what else here? What else do you guys got? Is there any upcoming news on any stock that is important to watch that is going to impact the stock that we would be watching? You know, a lot of news has passed recently. Apple had its WWDC event, which is just like a worldwide developers conference, and it had it in here. Apple pulled back the day of the event. Next day, skyrocketed over all-time high. Why would I be interested in Apple? Here's another good example. Tested 200 once, tested 200 twice, came up 195, rejected, came up to 200. We had a catalyst here. Why did I like it here a lot more than here and here? Because we actually had a news catalyst that would be moving the stock. And sure enough, good news came out. They implemented AI. They partnered with OpenAI, right? ChatGPT. And the stock ran, right? It ran 10% from 200 to 220. So those are just scenarios that you wait and wait and wait and wait on. Once everything lines up, boom. Is there any upcoming events or mergers? I mean, nothing that I'm super interested in right now because earnings season is kind of over. At the mid earnings kicks back up again mid-July when they announce Q2 earnings for everything. And so that's where some more action is going to come into play. Typically, summer is very slow, but so far, summer has actually been pretty crazy. GME has been one that's been kind of wild recently. Been a couple trades in there. I don't know. James Wavy, some things to obviously pay attention to is here with us in the Discord, looking at Walter Bloomberg on Twitter, looking at Zero Hedge on Twitter, reading the Wall Street Journal every day. That'll keep you up to date with some things. Obviously, we have elections in about, 4.5 months. And, or 4 months, whatever it is. So elections coming up. The Donald Trump stock is going to be definitely pretty interesting, right? If he gets elected, this could probably run higher to, maybe 80, 90, 100. If he doesn't get elected, maybe this dies off to, under $10. Something else to keep in mind, right? This is just a little bit longer term. Looking at oil is, let's go back and look at 2020 when Biden got elected, right? When Biden got elected, what happened? Oil prices skyrocketed. So oil, XOP went from $40 a share up to $140. Well, if Trump gets elected, he's going to drill more oil here, and oil prices will come down. And XOP and ExxonMobil, Chevron, Valero, all those stocks will come down. What will also happen? Interest rates. Obviously, he's going to be trying to make interest rates comes down. Trump got a ticker. Trump. So DJT is Truth Social. That's like his personal Twitter, right? He got banned on Twitter, so then he made his own company. So yes, that is DJT is the ticker. Interest. So he comes in, interest rates come down. What's going to happen? Bonds are going to go back up. So TLT, a high of 180 here in 2019, 2020. We're all the way down to $90 a share. When interest rates come back down, this will go up. This is an inverse, right? Because this is the 20-year Treasury, I believe, or whatever it is. It's a 20 PLS year Treasury bond ETF. So Treasury bonds will then go up. So TLT will go up. Oil will come down if Trump is elected. When do you think we will start seeing the effects of the election in the market, or are we seeing it now? So I definitely don't think we're seeing it now. Maybe a little bit. I'm sure you guys have seen that Trump's crushing it everywhere, but they're trying to put him in jail. So is it guaranteed? Of course not. But, Vans, I would see TLT up in, 120, 130, 140. And I would see XOP, ExxonMobil way down. I think this could come from 140 down to 80. All right, even 100. That would be a good trade, right? That's a pretty solid 30% move on this. So, just something to keep in mind, right? So there's definitely bigger trades in this that we could see. How do we trade the first 10-ish minutes when market open? Can I tell if a stock will be bullish or bearish from it? So, Angel, the simple way to answer that is nobody knows anything that's going to happen, right? The market doesn't care about you. The market doesn't know you. The market doesn't care how much money you have or how little money you have. It's going to do whatever it wants. So our job as traders is to have a game plan, right? A trade idea stop loss, profit target, entry. And if the stock does exactly what you want to do, you then take the trade and you follow your criteria and your plan. Okay, so do I know if something's going to be bullish or bearish? No. Do I know if it's going to go down or up? No. But I know what I would like to happen. I know what has a high chance of happening, but I don't know if it's going to happen. So it's hard for, it's going to be hard for you to learn all this in one sitting. I know you're new. I know you're anxious to learn, but my advice is to be, to take it slow, take it one day at a time, journal everything down, write things down on paper, really keep good documents of everything that you do, and take it a day at a time and just try to soak up as much as you can. Ask questions, ask whatever you can. Okay. All right. 1 second, Discord. I can see on YouTube, Discord. What are your thoughts on Tesla on the monthly? I mean, very simple. I think Tesla's, as you can see here, we're just kind of coiling up. I think Tesla has plenty of chance to go all the way back up. Elon's talking about banning Apple products in all of his facilities. Just thinking out of the box here, if Elon comes out and makes his own phone through Tesla, that could be huge, right? That could skyrocket this stock, or maybe it kills the stock, right? We just don't know. But it's just keeping up with news on specific stocks that you're watching is very, very important. Layla, SMCI on YouTube. Let's see here. SMCI. I think it's finally based out a little bit. Really not that interested, to be honest with you, just because we're literally in the middle of all of this right now. So I don't really want to trade it in this area. Once we start breaking up near 1,000 or, 967, or 970, 967, around that area, up through there, I'd be interested for this, to go higher here. Okay. Maybe, and then under 700, I'd be looking for it to go down. Okay. So other than that, not interested as of, today or tomorrow, but around those levels, right? Around, 975 to 1,000, I'd be interested in looking at it. And then down by 700, I'd be looking at it for a downside trade. Other than that, like I tell my guys here at the Discord, I don't care if it goes in a circle or spells my name on the chart. I don't care. When it gets to the prices I'm interested in, I will look for it. When the prices come down to the levels I'm interested in here, I'll look to trade it. Market closes tomorrow. Yes, market is closed tomorrow for Juneteenth. All right, Latvia, let's see what you got. I struggle with waiting to trade a certain direction when it does not buy something. Take advantage. Obviously, like Tesla this morning, I was looking at calls, now my level set. Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. I was looking at Tesla today too. I was looking at Apple today too for upside trades. Did I take them? No, right? They didn't do what I wanted to do. They opened and failed instantly. So sometimes that just means that you were looking the wrong way. That's just part of trading, though. That's just part of trading. But that also goes into what I was talking about earlier is we never know what's going to happen. We never know if a stock's going to go up, it's going to go sideways, it's going to go down. We just don't know. So it's just best to have a game plan and stick to it. If it goes the opposite way like today, stay away from it. Could you have made money on the downside? Sure. But if that wasn't your plan, then I'd rather you not take that trade and be disciplined enough to stay away from it than just instantly try to change your game plan off the open when the stock's doing the other, moving the other way. Should I practice on paper trading? Yes, Saucy. So, I mean, I definitely think you should practice on it. To me, there's a lot of different things to think about when paper trading. A lot of people paper trade for too long sometimes. You paper trade for a while and you quote unquote, make money with fake money. And you think that you're built for this and you're born for this and this is what you're supposed to be doing. And you then switch over to real money and it's a whole different ballgame, right? You're putting real risk on the line. You're using real money. You're trying to make real money and you don't want to lose real money. Okay. So that's just a whole different learning curve there emotionally, right? I suggest paper trading to try to find a strategy that you like and then maybe kind of get the hang of it and then move to real money with small amounts. What I don't want you to do is stick to paper trading for so long and you're so used to just not being emotionally attached to the real money aspect of it. And then you think that you're so good at this. And then you go over on real money with a big amount and blow it all up, because chances are you will lose money in the beginning. That's just how it goes for every trader. A lot of people actually have beginner's luck. They do good in the first week or month or whatever. A lot of traders do good for the first month and then blow it all away in the next 2-3 months. So I suggest paper trading to learn your platform, find a strategy, and then go on real money with very small amounts to just get the mental aspect, wrapped around your head on what it's really like to trade with actual real life money. What's up, RB? Yeah, long time. Miss trading with you guys. Ado on YouTube. Looks like AVGO has gap to fill above or below 1788, 1747. Yeah, AVGO has been gapping up like crazy. But what's the theme here? This is involved in semiconductors like NVDA, AMD, Micron, whatever. AVGO has been going nuts. But what's the theme? Had good earnings and announced a 10-to-1 stock split. What is that? Before I even go on to the next ticker, guys, what does that sound like? Good earnings, 10-to-1 stock split. This should be pretty easy. Someone's got to answer. I'm not going to switch until there you go, Gio. Thank you. Yeah, NVIDIA. What happened with NVIDIA? Good earnings, announced 10-to-1 stock split, and continue to run. Ran into the split and is now continuing to run. So what could this do? Could it pull back a little bit? Sure. Could it chop around for a couple days? Sure. But the overall theme here is good earnings, announce a split, run into the split. So, I mean, this could run to 2,000 by the split pretty easily. So keep that in mind. Crazy how different it is pushing a button with real money versus paper money. 100%. Doodah. 100%. It's very hard. Mentally, it's very, very hard. I'm day trading myself till I find a day trading strategy. There you go. Angel, I wish I could, point anyone in here in the perfect right direction, right? That's just never going to be the case. Trading is a profession that you only get good at by spending time doing it, making mistakes and correcting those mistakes, right? Experience, intuition, and practice. It's not something that you can pick up in a week or a month or even a year. But, right, I always talk about, like, how long does it take to be a doctor? You got to go to school for, 8+ years. You got to pay tuition. You got to pay your tuition to the markets. You're going to have to probably lose in the beginning and make mistakes and blow up accounts and whatnot. That's why I tell you to use smaller amounts of money when you're starting. Don't look to be a millionaire overnight. Don't look to be making a couple $100 a trade when you're just starting. It's just not realistic. Make your $10, $15, $20, $30, and be happy with that. Because day trading, especially if you're trading with me, sometimes market opens at 9:30 Eastern. We're done by 9:40 Eastern, and we caught a 20% trade. And if you had 10 grand on it, you made $2,000. If you had $100 on it, you made $20. It's all relative. There's guys that trade billions of dollars. There's guys that trade $100. It's all percentages. What stocks are you looking at for Thursday? I'll get into that close to the end. Brando, NVIDIA, I've kind of gone over that a little bit. I'm not super interested in just continuing to chase these highs. If there's, if it pulls back for a couple days like here, right, you get a couple days of consolidation. That's a good trade for me here. Other than that, I mean, I'm just, like tomorrow, I'm not, or, Thursday, I mean, I'm not really looking to trade this through highs necessarily. I think at one point, this does have a pretty decent pullback. Like we saw it here when it was almost $1,000 a share, it pulled down to $750 a share. So there could be a pretty solid pullback. Oh, Brando. Okay, my bad. Is buying leverage ETF like TSLL, Tesla 2x leverage, leap call options a good idea? Or should I buy the regular one when Tesla breaks 205? Well, I don't trade the leverage ETFs. But if you're going to buy something like Leaps, I think maybe maybe split up your money. Maybe buy the underlying and then also buy some of the leverage ETF. You know what I mean? Because sometimes maybe they don't move exactly like you want. Do I know if Tesla's going to go back up? No, I don't. I think Tesla was obviously a hype stock, right? When the new electric vehicles came out and whatever. And now it's just fairly common to see them, for people to have them. So, do I think it can go higher? Sure. But do I also think there's a chance for it to go lower? It's very, very doable. So, it's not a trade that I'm looking to take necessarily, but does it have a possibility of working 100%? That's just not my style. But over, the years that I've done this, you just refine your strategy over and over and over again, and you just stick to what you're good at. And once you find what you're good at, and you can consistently make money on it and lose small, you just stick to it. It's as simple as that. You're going to meet tons of traders in your life if you stick around this, whole stock market trading world, and they're all going to trade a little bit different. Some people are good at one thing, others are good at the other. But what they're all going to have in common is their principles, their risk management, their psychology, stuff like that. So there's a lot of commonalities in trading, but there's also a lot of differences. There's more differences than commonalities. Start simple and focus on one or two good stocks. Be patient, no FOMO. Learn when to enter. Ado, that is perfect, man. What else you guys got? About 30 minutes in here. I'll start charting when there's about 15 minutes left, but that won't take very long. So ask away. Other tickers, any trades you want me to kind of go over with you guys that you took, if you give me your entries and exits and kind of trade thesis there, be happy to go over that with you. Remember, I only do this once a week, so prepare for the next one if you're not prepared now for questions and whatnot. I'm here to help. And then Thursdays, for anyone that's not in the chat or is a free member, that is when the my in-depth lessons on a specific topic. That's when I do that. Farouk, what's the ticker on that? If I can take one day off a week from work to day trade, what day should it be? It really depends. It's hard to give you a perfect day. I mean, I think like Tuesdays and Wednesdays are typically good, but there's plenty of Thursdays that are good. There's plenty of Fridays that are good. And Mondays are good. I would just say pick whatever works best for you and try to learn it, and then go over my recordings and stuff when I'm back to live trading with you guys. Okay. Jumia, you bought January 26th expiration. Is that January 2026 or January the 26th? You bought the 2026. Okay. Honestly, I don't really know much about the company. Do I ever take leaps? No. Is it way down in the dumps and it's actually starting to kind of peek its head out on some high volume here this year? Yes. I mean, I think that this is honestly a pretty good trade. I mean, obviously you want to see it get over this $10 level here. Above 10, I would say obviously next is probably about $12.50, and then 15, and then 20. I mean, very doable. Okay, good. Well, then I'm thinking the right way. So I think that's very doable. Jonas, how about crypto, bro? I am not into crypto. I don't day trade crypto. We do have people in this chat, and we also have a partner chat room called Titan, or it's all crypto based. So if you're interested in that, come hop in the Discord. Blake, I bought SLVP, and what are your thoughts of it moving up? I'm guessing this is silver. I mean, I'm not much of a commodities guy, you know. I don't know much about it, so I don't want to sway your trade idea one way or the other. I think technical wise, it looks pretty good. If it holds above $11, I could easily see 13, 14, maybe 15. I know gold's been doing decently well. So, gold and silver are inflation hedges. Obviously, silver's gone from $8 to 13, this year. So I don't know. I mean, I would start to be careful when Trump comes around to the election time. If he gets elected, interest rates come down, inflation stops. Obviously he's going to do what he can to stop that, and gold and silver can come back down. So I don't know how long you're planning to hold it, but what else we got over here? Brando's Celsius. Yeah, that's been on watch a little bit. I mean, do I think this is a decent buy spot? Yeah. I mean, is it a stock that I trade on a day-to-day basis? No, it's just not. It's just not a fast mover. Typically not a ton of news on it. It moved really well here. Tried to retest all-time high of 100, failed. And we're kind of bouncing back off this kind of demand zone here. So do I think it can go back up? Yes. Would I be looking to short this? No. I would, if I was forced to trade this, I would probably be a buyer. Any stock is good for options now. Yeah, I mean, plenty of stocks are good for options. For me personally, I like to trade Tesla, Apple, NVDA, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, SMCI, Netflix. Those are my favorite for sure. Jonas, Meta. So what's up with Meta? To me, Meta's one of those other stocks that's just kind of primed for a breakout through all-time highs. Huge pullback here, and now look at us just absolutely going crazy. Push through all-time highs, pull back, gap fill back up on earnings. We're coming back up to 520. We're holding, around 500. I think this has plenty of chance. However, do I think it'll happen right now? No, because the market is way up here, and Meta is kind of, if this was Meta's all-time high right here, we're kind of right under it. SPY, NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Micron, a lot of those companies have already broken through their all-time highs and gone much higher. For now, Meta is kind of lagging behind. So if the entire market rolls over, well, maybe Meta actually ends up selling off again a little bit. So that's my thoughts on Meta for you, Jonas. What else you guys got? Discord. Do about 5 more minutes of Q&A, and then I'll chart a little bit. I've already kind of charted pretty much, going over stuff with you guys. But markets close tomorrow, right? Don't take everything that I say when I start charting. Personally, it could all change by Thursday morning. So we'll briefly go over that. But again, ask as much as you want. YouTube, Twitter, you guys too. You're killing it tonight. I love it. Any trades that you guys have taken? Do you think NVIDIA will hit 150? I think it's very doable. Do I think it'll do it on a straight shot from where we are now at 135? No. I think over time, very, very doable though. It's kind of due for a pullback. Market is too. Ado, take it easy, man. Yeah, NVIDIA's. I heard today they actually think NVIDIA could be a $5 trillion company. So, um, we're sitting at about three. So, that's roughly 50-60% move higher. So, that would put this around $200 a share, which would be insane. When you have a candle that is kind of an outlier, look on Amazon Daily. Do you count that as support resistance or ignore it? Let's see what Amazon did. So which one's the outlier here? Is it going to be this one? Maybe this one? May. Which candle are you looking at? Or let me go in here. So like this one here. That's April though. So I mean, you definitely consider that. However, for like this box that I have drawn here, I wouldn't consider it. But you can also kind of say that it is considered somewhat because yeah, we gapped down here, but we actually closed right on it, so it kind of validated this box a little bit. Um, but like to me, it's like okay, if Amazon rolls back down into this area, okay, why would I be interested down here? Well, what's around this level? Well, 175. Okay, so yeah, Amazon hasn't bounced off the penny, right? On the penny of 175. However, you break under 175, and then we have lows here, 173, 173, 174, 172, 90, whatever it is. Yeah, we did break 175, but 175 is that whole number. Then also here you kind of have 170 and then 166, and you can almost kind of consider, 165 to kind of be the area. So um you want to consider it, Vans, for sure. However, I don't think that it invalidates this like box that I have drawn here, if that makes sense. Brando on Twitter. ARM. Yeah, ARM's been going pretty crazy. Pretty crazy move here. Again, back to Angel, if you're still here. Look at 150 here, right? Broke through 150, closed under, rejected, kind of rejected again, came back up, got close to that resistance, broke through, all-time high 164, broke through that. Wow, ARM had a day. I didn't even notice this. Wow. So do I think this can go higher? Sure. Am I going to be a guy chasing the highs right now? No. To me, I would like to see something more along the lines of this pull back, kind of chop around a little bit, and then go back for these highs, and then look for a break of the all-time high like that. Does that make sense? Zoom in on that for you. Okay, breakthrough, retest the original all-time high, bounce around a little bit, and move. Is that SADI stacked volume? I don't know what that means. You see what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Discord, what else you guys got? YouTube, Twitter, you guys keep it coming. I can kind of just slowly start charting here. Tesla, obviously it pulled back on Elon getting his pay package, tried to gapped up, then just really sold off pretty hard, which I think a lot of us weren't expecting. But we're getting back up here, right? We're back above 185. We kind of retested this 180 area back up here. So I'm going to be interested in 190. So above 190, we have a high here like 191. Break through that. Next target's like 200. Above 200 is where I'm interested. Then 205. Above 205, this could really start going. Why am I interested in that? Well, look at the daily. Is it the daily? Maybe it's the weekly. I didn't look as good though. There it is. So above 220, 240, then 250. That's kind of where this could really start taking off, right? We have a big kind of wedge pattern here. So I mean, am I interested for Thursday? I mean, kind of. It's pretty much like I'm just gonna sit and wait for Tesla to get back up close to 190. I don't care what it does below this. I'm not interested in the downside until 160. Okay, or 165. Once you get to the bottom of this range here, 167, 168, 165, I would look for a downside trade. Amazon, gonna watch this. Again, it's like I'm not interested in this until it gets back up here close to 190, or maybe not really even down here. So really upside only for Amazon there. Microsoft's been on a pretty nice run. We hit 450. Ideally, this comes back into 440 for a couple days, and then peaks its head back out to around this 450 area. So I'm just going to be waiting on that. Could it go higher in the short term? Sure. To me, I feel like it's probably going to come back down, and then we can get a pretty nice move back into 450. NVDA, obviously going to keep watching that. It's just a hot stock. It's moving really well. Am I interested to trade it tomorrow or Thursday? No, just because I'm not going to just trade a new high after we just made it, with no sort of technical support resistance there at all. SMCI is moving pretty well. Going to wait for that to get closer to 1,000. Netflix has been a pretty nice mover. I don't want to continue to chase Netflix. I think I love that it's coming up here around 700. Would like to see it kind of chop around and wait for earnings to come around, because the earnings are on July the 18th. So give this, 1-2 weeks here of consolidation, and then we could probably start getting a pre-earnings run up through 700, which I would love to trade. Meta, still going to be watching that for an all-time high trade. BA, still bad news coming out on that. This is a pretty nice little bear flag setup here on the yearly. So decent little uptrend here that we're starting to break. So under 170, this could really start breaking, and maybe we could see 150 in a couple weeks. If the whistleblowers can actually make it out and talk, before anything bad happens to them like the last two. What else? You're going to be watching TEM still for this to trade a little bit lower. I think this is probably a pretty solid trade already. Through 37 back into 30. What else? I mean, like CrowdStrike has been doing pretty good. Oracle's been doing pretty good. Yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy. Crypto came back down, right? Coinbase had a pullback, ripped, pulled back down. When I trade Coinbase, it's solely based on what the overall crypto market's doing. Bitcoin seemed like it was ready to break out and is now failing. I would like to see it bounce here again back for highs. Then coin may be something on watch. I already talked about Microsoft 450. So I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, nothing too crazy. You guys know in the Discord how it goes. Pre-market, I'll give a couple picks on what I'm looking at and why. Other than that, probably just going to be kind of sidelined. 4th of July is coming up. We have so on July 3rd, the market closes at 2 o'clock Eastern, so 2 hours before the normal close. Actually, maybe it's 1 o'clock Eastern. Anyways, it's a half day. 4th of July, it's off. Friday will be very, very slow the day after 4th of July, because 4th of July is on a Thursday. We have a holiday tomorrow, of course, so markets close. I suspect that Thursday, Friday will be pretty slow. So not looking to push it. If there's a good setup there, I take it. If there's not, I don't try to force any sort of trade and lose money that I don't need to be losing. Other than that, just chilling. Really nothing that special going on. So please be safe. Don't do anything that you shouldn't be doing. Probably stay sidelines, watch things, try to learn, journal, chart, take screenshots, take notes, look at the news, try to keep up with stocks. Something that I learned from working on a trading floor is just look at stocks that you're interested in. If you wear Nike shoes, watch Nike, see how it moves with earnings, with news. If you wear Lululemon, what's going on with Lululemon right now? Well, Lulu was, took off about 2 years ago. Now it's starting to get hit. Why? Well, there's competitors now. If you guys know what Aloe is a competitor. There's some other clothing brands that stick out, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But competitors in the space, right? Lululemon came out with yoga pants. That came back down. We were looking at BlackBerry and Apple today. BlackBerry back in the early 2000s, right? Everyone wanted to have a BlackBerry. That was the GameStop squeeze back there, but BlackBerry used to be a huge stock. And then they didn't want to get involved. They weren't as cutting edge as Apple. And once Apple came out with their phones, look what happened to BlackBerry. BlackBerry went from $10 a share up to $150. Now we're down sitting at $2. What did Apple do in 2004, 2005, 2007, 2008? Apple was nothing. So there's cycles to this stuff. Can you do NEO? Do you think it'll pull a Carvana? They are backed by Chinese government. I don't think it'll pull a Carvana unless there's some sort of squeeze that happens on some sort of news. I think NEO's dead. NEO's not a Tesla. Rivian's not a Tesla. Lucid's not a Tesla. Right? If you think about electric vehicles, you think Tesla. That's why Tesla's still alive. And these are not. Any other questions, or should we wrap things up? All good here. Cool. YouTube, Twitter, y'all good? Give me a thumbs up. Lavian, Farouk, miss you guys. I'll be back in about 4 weeks. And then we're off to Florida to do the in-person event. Excited for that. We're already putting game plans together on what we're going to be doing, where we're going to be eating, what events we're going to be doing, what topics we're going to go over, how we're going to do live trading and all that stuff. So, all right, guys. Well, y'all have a good rest of the night. Take time off away from the market tomorrow. I mean, look at charts if you want to. Always you should be putting in the work if you can. Other than that, though, guys, y'all have a good rest of the night. Enjoy. And let's make some money on Thursday. Let's close the week out strong. Have a good night, y'all. Later.